YouTube. Bob. Yeah, awesome looking thing, isn't it? This is a Washburn. Does it have a date on it? It's got the buzz-featured tuning system. I don't really know what a buzz-featured tuning system is. Oh, is it? But it's got it. So serial number starts 07, made in Indonesia. So 2007 Paul Stanley model. It's a ps7200. It's a high number, isn't it? Yeah, so this one has a Seymour Duncan in the neck. I'm not sure what pickup this is. This is just basically in for a setup. My pal Dolly. Dolly I have. He was talking about he's been lowering the pickups in his guitar right into the body because he says it sounds better, and it's like, I've set it up the way I like it. You know, it's dead easy to lower the pickups back down if you want to do that. I just set it up the way I would have it. So I've sorted the truss rods, polished the frets, adjusted stuff, done the intonation, all such things. So it's now got a much lower action than it had before. So I mean, it's got Grover tuners on it as well. It's got 18:1 Grover tuners because it says so on the back. So Paul Stanley's, let's be honest, a bit of a guitar slut. He's definitely had Ibanez, Washburn, Washburns that aren't this model, Silvertone, BC Rich, Carvin, and that's all I know, and I'm not really a Kiss fan. I did see them at Download during the summer there, and it was actually really good. There was a bit where, if you look at my videos, where I won a tenner off my pal because we fought our way kind of down to the front at Download, Castle Donington, and that a zip wire. Betty Paul Stanley flies over the top of us, shooting flames. Peter's like, no, no, he's not going to do that. No, he is. Honestly, he's going to. I've seen a video of him doing it 20 years ago, doing it in Australia. I think he's going to fly over the top of the crowd during the song Love Gun. I think. No. Betty a tenner, he's not. Done. Won a tenner. Right over the top of us. Literally, I could have jumped up and tapped his foot if I'd really wanted to. I wouldn't want to kill him though. I mean, he must be in his, how old? He must be in his 70s or something now. So. Yeah, it didn't work. The trigger of my love gun. Love gun. I don't really know it much, Kiss. Seymour Duncan in the neck. This guitar actually had an issue with the G string going out of tune, but the nut wasn't particularly well cut, so I've kind of cut the nut a little bit better. The strings haven't stretched in yet, apart from the G string, which I have been bending like an idiot to make sure it doesn't go out of tune. On a side note, if you having issues with and that's because it's the Les Paul thing. See, the idea if you look at a Strat or something like a Strat, you don't have one that I can actually reach quite easily. Okay. A Strat type, the strings go over the nut, and then you go in a straight line to the tuners. That's a good thing. You want it to do that. That's obviously not a Strat. It's an Ibanez Strat, but Gibsons don't do that to try and maintain their. So it's like the strings. You're alright with these two because these are kind of going in a sort of straight line, but once you get to the D and the G, they kind of go up to the nut and then go way off at an angle, which means that when you bend a string, it pulls the string through the slot a little bit because it expands, and then because it's going at a funny angle, it doesn't go back the way. So you tend to find that the G and the D strings tend to. So there is a way around it, which I did with this guitar. So if you look there, it's got. You can buy a thing called a string butler, but this is actually just ball ends of bass strings screwed on. So you see the strings go round a roller, and then they arrive at the nut in a straight line. It's either that or you get the nut cut properly. Or you can slightly lessen the effect by using coated strings like elixirs, because they've got rubber on, they kind of slip through a little bit better. I've never heard anyone else say that, but in just an experience, that tends to make a difference. But I actually really like the design of this guitar. It's actually not actually that unlike my favourite one I made myself, which is kind of like a Telecaster with a BC Rich bit stuck on it. Where this is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a Les Paul, with this bit here reminds me of like an Explorer, or perhaps that part of the A series. You know, it's like this bit's like an Explorer, and this just looks like it's off a BC Rich, and then the rest of it's a Les Paul. Very nice. Oh, sorry, Paul Stanley was Gibson Sonics as well, so it's like at least 6, or not even that much of a fan, but at least 6 different guitar companies, never mind different guitar models. So, I've got a Paul Stanley signature guitar. It could be anything. It's like it could be any make. Probably not Fender, I don't think, but I mean, you know what I mean. Actually, I've just tuned this to standard tuning, but I think the owner likes it drops down to not drop D, just like just tunes to E flat or D sharp, depending on how you look at it. But to be honest, if you're doing a crazy change of setup, like you're going to drop C or something like that, you probably start needing to adjust stuff. But going from down half a fret, you don't need to really set anything else up, unless your guitar's like a super cheap one with a really bendy neck. This isn't a super cheap guitar. I don't actually know how much it costs. Probably quite expensive. The set neck's quite a nice join there, and it's got big pots in it as well. So yeah, this is a premium guitar, I would have said. I don't really know that much about modern Washburns. I like the old ones. This era. The 80s ones, but they were made in Japan and in a factory that closed in 1983 and all that stuff. So I mean, Washburn never stopped. I don't really know why they're not bigger. They're not more well known. I think they've got quite a good name, but you don't really see that many of them really. They did a lot during like but they're still about. You can still buy them. Plays really, really easily though. And the being a Kiss signature, I guess kind of reminds me a wee bit of my Squire Mikey Way, is My Chemical Romance bass player. I've got it's like a a Squire Mustang bass. It's kind of like a really cool sparkly silver colour with like a competition stripe on it. And it's like, yes, it's a Squire Mikey Way, but it's just a really cool guitar. That's what this is as well. I think a Kiss fan would go, oh, it's a Paul Stanley one. Everyone else is going to go, oh, what a cool Les Paul with a funny looking pointy bit on it. Is the way I would look at it. I would play this over a Les Paul, no problem. I know a lot about Kiss. Get a lot of hate. Kiss get the level of hate I put towards Oasis on against, if you were, I think it's just it's an age thing. Like the reason I hate Oasis so much is because I was like 16 or 17 when they came out and everyone listened to them, and I was subjected to it. Whereas Kiss, I was never really subjected to Kiss. I do like their sort of cheesy sing-alonginess of quite a lot of their songs, and I think they're all right. But it would maybe be different if I'd heard it. You know, if there's something you don't like, you know, you hear something for the first time, Sometimes you just love it immediately. Sometimes after a couple of goes you start going, oh no, I really quite like it. And sometimes after a couple of goes I really don't like it. And if you do really quite like it, every time you hear it, it gets slightly better. If you really don't like it, every time you hear it, it gets worse. So I kind of, first time I heard Oasis, I didn't like it. And then I heard it again, I liked it less. And then I heard it another 1,000 times. And then it became, I would rather just poke myself in the eye than listen to Oasis, sort of thing. But that's a personal thing. It's also Coldplay get a lot of hate as well. And it's like, I don't hate Coldplay because I've never really heard any of the songs. I've heard a song, thought, nah, don't like that. But I didn't have to hear it hundreds. I wasn't round at people's houses where they were playing whole albums of it over and over and over again. It doesn't seem to have the weight of a Les Paul either. I don't know if this would be chambered or something. Maybe it's not a light guitar, but it's not heavy. It's not a Les Paul. Put it that way. It's middle. It's the sort of guitar where, you know, you get your, is it Little Bear's porridge? Where it's like, is it heavy? Can't remember. It's neither. It's just in the middle. You don't notice whether a guitar is light or heavy if it's in the middle, and I think that's kind of around about 3.5 kilograms, something like that. And it's once you start getting less than 3, you start going, oh, it's pure featherweight, or more than 4, you start going, oh, it's a bit of a chunk. So it's in the middle. Weight is just not an issue. It's not noticeable. Even now I'm holding it, it's like, the fact that I'm looking at it and I can see it's sort of like a Les Paul, I'm going, it's actually quite light, just because I'm used to the lead weight that is a Les Paul. Basically, there's going to be an issue with this guitar when you get it, Tolly, because all the strings are going to be, the G string is going to be the most used one, because because you had that issue with the tuning thing, I tend to be wobbling that enough a lot. I can play all Kiss songs, no problem, if I'm in a band where someone else in the band knows how to play it. Just like, what's the verse go like? Right, okay, got you. What's the chorus again? Yeah, there we go. Bang, we're off. It's actually the first time I've played this guitar properly rather than just bending the G string trying to make it in tune. Where's it going? Speed. I remember in my head it goes like. Goes. Two volume controls, got them turning both down. Wonderful guitar. This, to be honest, is not one. It's not one I've actually ever really seen. And it's possibly not one I would have chosen if you showed me a line of guitar. No, well, see, you would. If you'd showed me a wall of guitars and on it you had like a Tele and a Strat, I would probably, and a Les Paul, I'd probably have gone for this going, oh, that's interesting. But it's a proper gigging quality guitar. And it's all the qualities are, everything on it is really like a really good quality. Obviously, it's got Grover tuners. I don't know. That's a Seymour Duncan pickup, which I'd imagine is a replacement. That's the original pickup, which sounds really good. I wouldn't change. I don't know why the Seymour Duncan was put in the neck, but if the bridge pickup's in to go with, I'm assuming that's the original bridge pickup. I would imagine it's totally suitable and perfect. And if you want to get 2% better, maybe upgrade the pickups, but I wouldn't have. No, it's a wonderful guitar. You can kind of tell these things when I'm playing them. Got a wee bit carried away there. It's like it gives you that, once you get into a sort of flow and you can sort of push it, you start going, oh, this kind of, this can do more. Like, whoa, it's like, oh, yeah. And that G string's now holding. I didn't actually show you it clean because Who buys a guitar that looks like this and plays clean on it? Lots of people do, but I don't. They try and keep the video down a little bit. So, rock on. I don't know. But this video won't be going out today because today's Tuesday and I'm going to do a swap thing. If I've still got it up, I'm going to try and swap this for something. If anyone wants to swap it for a guitar that looks like a maybe is there a cheaper version of this? You know, like maybe a bolt-on one that doesn't have the binding and Seymour Duncan's and the Grovers. To be honest, I'd totally do that. Because I would keep this. Even as I said, even though it is a Kiss thing, and I'm not an anti-Kiss fan. I do have a couple of albums. Actually, what's the one I got that? I got it because it was meant to be pure awful, and I kind of bought it as a laugh. Music from the Elder. I really like that. That's my favourite Kiss album. I like it. It's I think it wasn't popular because it's not really very Kissy, but it's like a pure prog concept album, a bit like some from the 80s, I think. I've also got the one with I Was Made for Loving You, which all Kiss fans hate because it's disco, but yes, I like that. When I saw them at Download, Love Gun would be the song that I do like. One of the ones I kind of like all of them. There's a couple I don't like actually that are big hits. What's the one with the bass solo in it? And then, but Love Gun, Shout It Out Loud. What's the one with Party All Day, Drink All Night, Party All Night? The greatest hits, the 10 greatest hits, I really like 8 of them, sort of thing, and there's 2 that I'm kind of, I don't hate, but I'm just, but again, to me this doesn't hit me immediately. Oh, it's a Paul Stanley one. If it had been like the leopard print one or the one with the smashed mirrors on it, I would probably have gone, well, it's a Kiss guitar, isn't it? But it's got a bit of class to it. But it's got a little bit of a pure, got a pointy bit. You might be hearing some metal. The pointy bit makes it metal. Again, it's one of those things. It's like this is it's got the carved top. I'd imagine it's got a maple cap and a mahogany body and all that, and you put this up against like a Les Paul Studio or something, and then is it like a better guitar? Pretty much, yeah. It kind of highlights that Gibson's Les Pauls aren't really that good because you can get better guitars. I mean, this would be way cheaper than a Gibson Les Paul. And then the Epiphone ones, which are now really expensive, are I reckon held back a little bit so that they're not better than the Gibson ones. Whereas Washburn, they'll just make it good. So there you go. We're not worried about, oh no, hold on, it's like you're in the board meeting going on, the new ps7200. It's kind of awful good. It's like people are going to play this and then play the £2,500 one and go, there's not really that much difference. It's kind of, I'll just save half the money and get this one. And it's like, so that's all conspiracy theories, isn't it? Rock on!